Okay, this is Mr. McCarthy here with my second try at recording a desktop video for creating an MP4 in Photoshop. Okay, so let's get started. First thing I'd like you to do is I'd like you to combine your individual images that you've just finished creating in Photoshop. I'd like you to combine those images into different layers in the same file. Okay, so I currently have 7 layers, including my title slide on top and the 6 compositional elements below. Once you have those in there and they're positioned correctly, and what I mean by that is they basically show up in the same place. A little bit of variation is fine. We'll get started. Okay, and this is how we're going to get started. I want you to go up here to Window, Timeline. Now, when I open my timeline, a frame shows up on the timeline right away. When you show up on, or when you open the timeline for the first time, there's going to be a message right in the middle here. I want you to go ahead and click that, and that's going to give you the opportunity to start creating your video. And then your topmost layer should show up in that first frame here. By the way, there's 2 ways to create a video, or there's 2 different timeline interfaces. This is one, frame by frame, and the other is more of a traditional timeline here. Okay, and why did that stop? Dang it. Oh, we're still going. All right, so what I'd like you to do is choose frame by frame here, and this is what we're going to do. Make sure the time at the very bottom here, mine says 5 seconds. I'd like you to put it to no delay, so it's at 0 seconds. And then I want you to count out or create 7 total frames here. And you do that with this new button function, duplicate selected frames. So I'm going to just count it out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There we go. All the frames are the same. And what we're going to do now is we're going to change those frames. So we're going to keep number 1 as it is. We're going to go to number 2 here. We're going to turn off the eyeball and expose the creative angles. For number 3, we're going to turn off 2 eyeballs and expose framing. Number 4, we're going to expose leading lines. Number 5, expose move up close. Number 6, repetition of shapes. And I think I missed creative. We have creative angles. All right, I'm just going to work with 5 frames here. Okay, so if I were to play the animation now, this is what it would look like. Plays once. I can make it play in infinity by clicking forever here. This is what it would look like. Actually looks rather interesting, but I'm going to ask you to slow it down a little bit. Okay, so we're going to come back to the first frame. I'm going to ask you to do this. We're going to tween forward. What I want you to make sure is you have next frame here, add 5 frames. We're going to go ahead and do that. And then after you've added 5 frames, I want you to come back to here, change it to 2 seconds. So number 1's at 2 seconds. With each successive frame, you see the value of the tweening. We see this cross dissolve occurring. And now we are at a fully developed creative angle, so we're going to do it again. We're going to tween forward, next frame. And then we're going to change this to 2 seconds. And we'll go forward again. We'll see that cross dissolve. And we're at framing. Go forward 5 again. Next frame 5. Change this to 2. Go forward 5. Change this to 2. 2. And then we've come to the very end, which is repetition of shapes. Because we want to create a loop here, we need to figure out how to get repetition of shapes to go all the way back to the beginning. And so this is how we're going to do it. We're going to create one extra frame at the end. So I'm going to create one more frame. It's the same. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put the title frame back up. There it is. And I'm going to keep this title frame at 0 seconds. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I've already set this title frame at 2 seconds. And let's see if this works. Okay, so we had a quick adjustment at the end there, so let's change that. Okay, so we didn't tween from repetition of shapes back to the main slide, so let's do that. So we're at next frame 5. And I'm going to change this back to 2, or to 2, I should say. Let's see if that works. There it is. And we're looping back to the beginning. All right. So this is playing as I'd like it to play for my MP4. So I'm going to go ahead and render this. I'm going to go up here to File, Export, Render Video, and we're gonna leave the individual adjustments untouched. And I just want to double check the name of my video. I'm going to go ahead and render that. This is currently going to my desktop compositional elements, which is perfect. And here's my render. Okay, so we are done. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to my compositional elements folder. I'm looking for my MP4. And I'm going to play that to double check, make sure it works. I can't play it for you now because I'm recording in QuickTime, so I can't play this video in QuickTime. So I'm going to go ahead and stop my recording. And as soon as I'm done with my recording, I'm going to play my video to make sure it's turned out the way I expect it to turn out. Okay? It's Mr. McCarthy signing off.